Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you my most anticipated YA and adult book releases for the second quarter of 2022. Okay, so yesterday I shared with you my most anticipated middle grade releases, and today we are going to be talking YA and adult book releases. These are the ones that I am most excited about that are coming out in the next 3 months. I have 15 books on this list. Guys, I have an issue minimalizing. I am a maximalist, like, in case you couldn't tell. Um, it just is what it is. I was going through this list though, and I could not whittle it down anymore. I already tried to whittle it down as best as I could, and it just is what it is at this point. It's fine. But let's just get into it, because yeah, we have 15 books to talk about. These will be in publication order, and all the books will be linked down below if you are interested in checking them out. So let's get going. The first book on this list is Bluebird. This is by Genevieve Graham, and this comes out on April 5th. I will be looking down quite a bit. All my information's right here. So this comes out on April 5th, and this is a World War II it's World War I/Prohibition era historical fiction. So it's basically about these two Canadians that met in France, maybe? I don't remember. During World War II, and one was a nurse and one was a soldier that she was treating, and they kind of bonded, and they found out that they were from the same area. And so once they got home, they started bootlegging liquor, and so during Prohibition time. And so there's also a present day timeline about someone who is trying to figure out some things about a Prohibition era whiskey cask that she has found, and it just sounds really interesting. So that is the first one that is on this list. The second one that I want to talk about also comes out on April 5th, and this is Skyward Flight, the collection. So this is actually a collection of novellas, 3 novellas that are part of the Skyward series. This is something that has previously been published in ebook format individually, and so this is a compilation of those 3 novellas in print format. It comes out on April 5th, like I said, and it is Sunreach, Redawn, and Evershore are the 3 novellas, and this is part of Brandon Sanderson's Skyward series. I'm currently reading the second book in the series and really enjoying it, and so I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on these novellas as well. So, all right, number 3 also comes out on April 5th, and this one is called Atomic Anna. This I went back and forth on. I was like, does this sound like something I'm gonna like or no? I couldn't figure out kind of where I stood on this one, but then I went and I looked at the earlier reviews on Goodreads, and all of the reviews were so good that I am now even more excited to check it out. This has to do with time traveling, but also Russia, Chernobyl, and I'm going to read parts of this. I will not read the whole synopsis to you, but I will read parts of it. So it says 3 brilliant women, 2 life-changing mistakes, 1 chance to reset the future. So part of it is 1986, nuclear scientist. She's sleeping in her bed. It's moments before the Chernobyl reactor melts down, and then she wakes up in 1992. Only to discover that Molly, her estranged daughter, has been shot in the chest. So Molly begs her mom, with her dying breaths, to go back in time and stop the disaster from happening. In 1960s, Molly is coming of age as an adopted refusenik. So there's all these different pieces. It says her family's full of secrets and a past that they won't share. She finds solace in comic books and drawing and things like that. And then in the 1980s, Raisa is a lonely teen and math prodigy until a quiet, handsome boy moves in across the street and an odd old woman shows up to claiming to be her biological grandmother. So it sounds a bit like a cluster, but it also sounds really intriguing, and I don't know. I'm excited to check it out regardless. So yeah, that one comes out on April 5th. Okay, next we have Beth O'Leary's newest book, The No Show. This comes out on April 12th. I love Beth O'Leary. I've read The Flat Share, I've read what was the road trip, and the one where she swaps houses with her grandmother. What was that called? I don't remember what it was called now, but I've read all three of them. And so this one, it says 3 women who seemingly have nothing in common find that they're involved with the same man. Sorry, my nose itches. So it says Siobhan is a quick-tempered life coach. Miranda is a tree surgeon. And Jane is a soft-spoken volunteer at a local charity shop. All 3 of these women have one thing in common. They've all been stood up on the same day, the very worst day to be stood up on Valentine's Day. And unbeknownst to them, they've all been stood up by the same man. So once they've forgiven him, they let him back into their lives, are in serious danger of falling in love with a man who seems to have not just 1 or 2, but 3 women on the go. It just sounds like funny. It sounds funny. It's a rom-com. It's going to be funny. I'm here for it. I'm interested in seeing what Beth O'Leary is going to do with that. Okay, the next one that I'm excited about, this one I'm hesitantly optimistic about. It is Abby Jimenez's new book, Part of Your World. The reason that I am hesitantly optimistic is I know that Abby Jimenez can be a little open door with her smuttiness, which is not my forte. That's not really I don't read a lot of that. But this is a Little Mermaid retelling. So it doesn't have to do with the water, but it does have to do with someone from a very wealthy family whose parents are all surgeons. They all want her to be a surgeon, and then she falls in love with someone who is more working class, and whether she's willing to give up her life of luxury to be with him, and kind of that route of the retelling. I'm very interested in checking it out, but this one comes out on April 19th. Okay, next, historical fiction. I did not know this was getting a sequel, guys. The Bookwoman's Daughter by Kim Michelle Richardson. This is a sequel to The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. This comes out on May 3rd, and this follows, so The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek is about a blue woman who lived in Kentucky. This was during the time of the Packhorse Library. And so this follows her daughter. And so through a series of events, she ends up picking up her mother's old Packhorse Library route and delivering books to rural Appalachia. And yeah, sorry, back up. Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek was not my favorite book. I was not a huge fan of the writing in it, but I'm very interested in seeing kind of which direction the author takes this storyline, and if the writing's gotten any better, we'll see. But definitely interested in checking that one out, and that comes out on May 3rd. Okay, next we have another retelling. Guys, I have a lot of contemporary retellings on this list. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and this is by Jasmine Guillory. Once again, hesitantly optimistic because I know Jasmine Guillory is a little smutty as well. However, this is the second book in the Meant to Be series companion collection. That is being put out, and the first one was If the Shoe Fits, and I loved that book. That was a Cinderella retelling. This is by the book. a meant to be novel by Jasmine Guillory, out May 3rd. Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it has to do with a woman in the publishing industry who basically, her publishing house has a deal with this kind of cranky author, and so she goes to his mansion to try to get him to finish the book. And Beauty and the Beast, things ensue. So yeah, definitely interested in checking it out because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling and because it's a meant to be novel. I have high hopes, but we'll see. Okay, next, also on May 3rd, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is probably one of my most anticipated books of the year. I loved Beach Read by Emily Henry and People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. And so this one is about book lovers. Like, guys, I am so excited for this. So this is kind of a hate to love sort of scenario, but it has to do with someone who's like a city girl, goes to the country on vacation, does not meet the country doctor, or what does it say, bulging four-armed bartender was one. But instead meets a hard-headed editor from the city that she has run into multiple times in the city, and so they keep bumping into each other in this cute little town, and things ensue. I'm just excited for it. I mean, I've liked Emily Henry's other two books, so I'm just gonna go in hoping for the best. Okay, also on May 3rd, another contemporary book that just sounds really fun is The Wedding Season by Katie Birchall. This says 4 weddings and a funeral meets the wedding party. So this has to do with Freya Scott, who's getting married. She then also has to attend 7 other weddings within the same wedding season. So hers is the first, and then she has 7 others to attend. Well, she decides to call off her wedding at the last minute and really doesn't want to go to 7 other happily ever after weddings after this. And so her friends devise this plan. And so instead, they put together like this bucket list. What does it say? Oh, they put together all these challenges for her to do at each of these things, and like chaos ensues, and it just sounds like a ton of fun. So it sounds really just like one of those quick, fun springtime reads. I love reading like romance contemporary in the spring. That's my cup of tea. So wedding season, all that. Anyway, so that is also out on May 3rd. Okay, on May 31st, we get the third in the American Royal series. This is Rivals. And I have read American Royals and Majesty both and really, really like the storyline. I think that Catherine McGee has done such a good job with the storyline. And so, yeah, this is... Now, the third book, I can't really talk a whole lot about it because it would spoil some things. But suffice it to say that the royals are getting a little older. Things are happening. Things are progressing. Life is good. Now we have rivals in the picture from other countries, and it's going to be a good time. All right. Now, a definitely about face. This is like YA fun, alternate present. I don't know. This is American Royals. The series is about like what would have happened if the US had become a monarchy instead of a democracy, but set present day. Now we're going to nonfiction memoir about a cult. So like, whoop, other direction. This is the Community, a memoir by Anne Jamila, Chisholm. This is out June 1st. And this is about the author's experience in an extremist Muslim cult in the US. Her parents joined the cult in New York City and in 1978. And then 40 years later, Jamila is like looking into kind of what happened once they got out of the cult, but they were still Muslim. How were their lives changed by 9/11? It was just this, it sounds really, really interesting because it mostly has to do with her mom and what happened with her mom within this cult and with her. It sounds really interesting. So that comes out on June 1st. All right, and then next I have another retelling, contemporary retelling. Guys, I was in a mood when I put together this list, let me tell you. But this is a kind of a Parent Trap retelling. It's called The Beach Trap by Allie Brady. It is coming out on June 14th, and this has to do two 12-year-old best friends meet at camp. They're having the time of their lives, and then things go off the rails when they find out they're half sisters. They immediately break contact. 15 years later, their father passes away, and he gives them a joint inheritance, which is the family beach house, which is dilapidated. They're trying to renovate it together. They don't get along. They're butting heads. It sounds very interesting. So that one comes out on June 14th. The next one that I have here is another retelling, contemporary retelling, and this is Cinder Nanny by Saraya Wilson. This comes out on June 21st, and this has to do with a woman who is trying to help her sister with some mounting medical bills. And so she takes this high-paying job to accompany a wealthy couple to Aspen and nanny their 5-year-old for 3 months. And so while she's there, she ends up running into Griffin Windsor, who is actually an earl. And they kind of meet, things ensue. It's about them. Sounds really interesting and fun. Like I said, spring is my like lighthearted, fun, fluffy read month, or season. And so yeah. All right, one more left. Also a retelling. This is YA though, and this is A Secret Princess by Margaret Stoll and Melissa De La Cruz. This comes out on June 28th, and this is a mashup retelling of The Secret Garden and A Little Princess. That's literally all I knew when I added it to the list. I loved The Secret Garden. I read that last year. I read A Little Princess this year. Really, really enjoyed it as well. And this one has to do with best friends, Mary Lennox and Sarah Crew, and Cedric Errol. They're all best friends, and they're all at boarding school together. So when one of the friends suffers a personal tragedy, a plan and a secret change everything for the trio for good. That's literally all it says. I'm in. You give me A Secret Garden, Little Princess mashup retelling, I'm in. So set at a boarding school, even better. So yeah, that one comes out on June 28th. So yeah, that's it. I said 15. There's actually only 14. That's okay. I had one on this list that I didn't realize doesn't come out until July, so you'll have to catch that one next time. But yeah, those are 14 books that I am really excited about that are coming out in the next 3 months. Are you excited about any of these? Let me know. If you have any that you are super excited about that I did not mention today, let me know that down in the comments as well. And that's going to do it for today. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.